Morning. It's a pleasant Monday, 24th day of March 2025. My name is Ajuluchuku Okabwe.
My name is Obina Ikechukwu. It was actually a very good weekend. Of course, no footballing activities, but it was generally very much okay. And this is how I welcome you to a new week and on another edition of the Good Morning Anambra.
No problem. Well, we'll go for the short break. When we come back, we'll definitely be giving you the tidbit of what we have for you this morning as we roll out. Don't go anywhere. The show is about to begin. Glad to have you back, and we begin with the news making rounds on ABS. That's how we begin the show with the newspaper review this morning. And the first story we have for you on the ABS website is Joint Security Team rescues kidnapped Catholic priest at Ihiala. Also, Justice Ononiba at 88 Soludo tax judiciary on transparency, honesty. Police nab 2 suspected robbers in Oka, recover arms. That's a nice one. A university lecturer, Amawage ML calls for promotion of Igbo language among children. NDLEA intercept Indian lady with parcels of heroin in chocolate wraps. 2026 World Cup qualifiers, Zimbabwe players promise 150,000 naira dollars cash incentive to beat the Super Eagles. Wow. IGP Egbetokun wants police officers against unlawful prolonged detentions. And we also have 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Super Eagles head coach Chele wants team to maintain focus against Zimbabwe. Talking about that, let's begin with the sports story because that's really interesting.
150,000. It's a lot. It's a lot of money to actually motivate these guys to. I can't remember what they're being called. But whatever.
The Warriors.
Is it the Warriors of Zimbabwe? Yeah. So it's a lot of money. $150,000. I believe that's. I can't.
It's enough incentive to get them to get the results against the Super Eagles. But then the coach telling the Super Eagles to be wary of the Zimbabwean team. I don't understand how you'll be going to war and you'll be prepared and you need your coach to tell you of what lies ahead of you. These guys are professionals. They know what's at stake. They want to play at the FIFA World Cup every 4 years, you understand, whenever the opportunity presents itself. So they know what's at stake. They know their career is also on the line. Imagine not playing 2 consecutive World Cups and what that will mean to Nigeria. I don't need to tell them what to do. They actually know what to do. Now,
you know, sometimes it boils down to, that's why we have coaches and managers. It's not like these players don't know, but they have to be reminded, even in as much as whatever happens, you have to put your mind guards day. Your mind, you've got to be there, and probably that's what the coach is trying to let the Super Eagles, that's the players in camp.
Yeah, talking about Justice Ononiba at 88 Soludo tax the judiciary on transparency and honesty. Wow, how much more can we blow that? Is it blowing it out of proportion or blowing it loud enough so that the average man out there will begin to see the judiciary for what it really is? Because sincerely speaking, a lot of people have lost hope when it has to do with that arm of governance in this part of the country. They say that the judiciary has been hijacked both by the legislative and especially the executive. And we begin to wonder, where lies the hope of the common man? Well, let us believe that with this 88-year celebration of justice on Ononiba, maybe things can begin to be come back and fall into shape.
You know, during the weekend, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, talking about His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, he made some statements about the judiciary sleeping. He said he was of the opinion that if someone is actually asleep, it will be very easy to wake up the person. But if someone is pretending to be asleep, no matter how much pressure you apply, except probably you're using a cane or, the person is likely not to wake up. So it's more like a call on the judiciary. Lots of questions are being asked, lots of reactions, sometimes people going to court. Like, we shouldn't, when court issues come up, like you meet lots of people who come from outside the country, or the climes or the countries we refer to as the SENA climes. People don't really want to go to court most times. They always want to settle things out of court. If me and you get wahala now, we go one settle them immediately, because see if we go court, omo, wahala dey. So, but it's in Nigeria. It's only Nigeria whereby, I won't say only, because there are some other countries, but in Nigeria the situation is very different, whereby we say, oh, anything, let's go to court, because people are very confident that they know their way around. They know one or two judges. They know how to give one or two judges and all that, and judgments likely to come to their favor, which is really not issue. It's something that we shouldn't be, very proud of. But of course, we're going to keep trying, and we cannot remove the fact that the judiciary also, in some aspect, have been trying their best possible, considering the fact that the executive is basically almost in control of everything. Now the executive, they pay judiciary. So sometimes judiciary make their family chop. Sometimes would want to, dance to the tune of the executive so that they feed or something like that. So, but these are some of the issues. We hope that it gets to a time where the judiciary will be so non-biased, and and the influence from the executive may not be so much.
Until then, we shall keep waiting, because we have no other country than Nigeria. But then let's begin with the first paper we'll have for review this morning, and that will be the Daily Sun. We have the banner headline screaming, Wike governors, Wike camp renew fight over PDP secretaryship. And the writer there says both camps claim victory in Supreme Court judgment. That's what we have there. We have JTF frees abducted priest in Anambra. The writer there telling us that police, military rescue kidnapped naval officers and others. Borrowing costs may rise as banking system liquidity dips. And the banks must manage reserves, interbank rates. That's coming from experts. And we have Rivers, Shoyinka, Wabara, fault footballer suspension. Enugu upgrading stadium, Ogu Games Village to world class for the 2026 National Sports Festival. That's interesting. NDLEA arrests Indian lady with 72 parcels of heroin in chocolate wraps. I thought Indian were for Indian and not for heroin. But then, explosion rocks Suku oil facility in Rivers State. That's what we have for you on the front page of the Daily Sun.
All right, on Daily Sun, okay. All right, on the...
Okay, on Daily Times, we have NDLE intercepts Indian lady with 72 parcels of heroin labeled as chocolate at Kano Airport. And that's the banner headline on the Daily Times newspaper. And we have Serap asks courts to set aside Tinubu's unlawful suspension of Fubara Rivers lawmakers. Another explosion hits gas station in Rivers. Federal government to regress 417 grazing routes, says further global market demands hits $20.9 billion. Crisis in cities, critics to Kuka on pro-chancellor appointment, beware of banana peels. Navy officer orders kidnapped in Abuja regain freedom. That's interesting to see. We can see where the JTF are giving us some level playing field when it has to do with kidnapping and release of kidnappers. Quickly, let's see what we have for you on the Punch newspaper, and then the banner headline is talking about Naira for crude. Marketers fear price hike as federal government suspends sale to Dangote. Ipman slams depot owners for stockpiling products. Federal government Dangote resume talks today. South Governors National Assembly plan to reconcile Fubara and the lawmakers. That's what we have for you there. Find it on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. At the mast of the Punch newspaper, we have Atiku Obi comes tackled Bode George Shekarau over anti-coalition comments. And we have petrol crisis eases in Niger Republic after Nigeria's bailout. 2 US-based Nigerians accomplices face 62-year jail term for $850 million fraud. Wow.
That's a lot.
Okay, let's move to the next paper for review this morning, and that's the Vanguard newspaper. And we have Oceanic Bank, our story. That's coming from Cecilia Ibru. That's at the mast of the Vanguard newspaper. We have Onelekon cautions political leaders against misuse of power. Wow, I wonder who you will caution them. State of the Nation, I don't know when we will have peace again. That's coming from Ame Ebute. Then the banner headline is saying another explosion rocks gas facility in Rivers. Let's see what the riders there are saying. We have tension in Niger Delta, militants reconvene. 5 days after suspension, Fubara appears in Port Harcourt. PDP BOT rejects demand reversal of Rivers emergency rule. Support group blames Tinubu decision on misinformation. Seraps use Tinubu over suspension. Emergency rule in Rivers sets dangerous precedents. And then we have NNPP chieftain saying that imagine Rivers without state of emergency on Onuga. Wow. I can't believe that. Now we still have some other stories, interesting stories here. Inflation. Manufacturers record 90.6% rise in cost. And then we have our state is evolving, not smelling. Lagos state government saying that probably maybe the smell is coming out as a result of the evolution.
Efforts to change a lot of things or something
Delta airs ill treatment of Nigerians unacceptable. That's coming from NCAA. And Raw wants Super Eagles. Don't take Zimbabwe lightly. You understand? That's what our former head coach is telling Nigeria. Don't take them lightly. Now, next for review this morning, we have the Daily Independent, and at the mast of it all, we have Serap sues Tinubu over suspension of Fubara Rivers lawmakers. Rivers emergency rule, pro-democracy coalition urges ECOWAS action. I wonder what they want ECOWAS to do in this point.
Yeah, and still on the Daily Independent, we have telcos on path to recovery. Ghana 14 million subscribers in 5 months. Are we going to say that's a decrease or an increase? All right, fuel tanker explodes in Niger, raises filling station. Again, the PDP professionals demand Wike's expulsion. And that's on page 29 of the Daily Independent. And we also have excitement as Fubara attends special prayer, Thanksgiving service. We also have IGP Egbetokun warns against illegal detention. And still on the Daily Independent, we have Nigeria's 2025 budget at risk over low oil prices, production decline. And the kicker to that, we have setbacks may pose challenge to economic stability, according to analysts, and say Nigeria may struggle to meet its revenue target. Of course, we're struggling already to meet our revenue target, if we are being honest with ourselves currently. All right, still moving away from the Daily Independent, we are currently on the This Day newspaper. And on this day, we have Wabara, declaration of state of emergency in Rivers is assault on nation's democracy. We also have NNPC's forward oil sales hit $21.5 billion in 6 years, hobble domestic crude obligations. We also have Pope Francis returns to Vatican after 5 weeks in hospital. And then, all right, those are the major stories in front of the This Day news paper. All right, moving from the This Day, we have the I believe that's the Nation.
Yeah, the Nation newspaper is up next.
Yes, on the Nation newspaper, we have, all right.
All right, so on the Nation's newspaper, we have the banner headlines still talking about what's happening in the Rivers emergency. Oshomole Oke's highway tolling as at kickoff of 125-kilometer Benin Asaba Road. Rivers emergency declaration, Okpebolo faults Jonathan.
The blame games.
Oh, yeah. This is really getting interesting here. Wow. The writer there says, can't see that. That is a little bit blurred. Adeleke threatens to depose Obas of warning Ilubu Ifun communities. Sale of crude in Naira extension likely as committee meets. IG wants policemen against unlawful detention. Natasha's conduct vindicates Yaya Bello, says Kogi senator. And then we also have here the Pope back at Vatican, and that's all that is major on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Quickly, let's go down, see what's happening on the Guardian newspaper this morning. And then we have U.S. aid withdrawal, drugs shortages, uncertainties squeeze HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis clinic nationwide. And then we have the other stories there. Facilities ration antiretrovirals, cut 6 months supply to 1 or 3 months. And then we have HIV response under threat in FCT. 33 states, NEP1 says federal government pledges 700 billion to plunge foreign aid supply shortfall. And then we have Bakari Ezekwesili, proffer solutions to Nigeria's leadership crisis. Anxiety in Kanu as Bayero Sanusi plans separate Doba celebrations. That's interesting. Concerns over constitutionality of suspension of tenured office holders in Rivers State. Nigerians seek good governance, not 2027 distractions. That's an editorial that we have there. And we have Obasanjo decries Onion Dam neglect, incessant borehole drillings. Presidency says suspension of Fubara orders not power grab as government appears in public. Adebayo dismisses SDP merger as Lamido urges rebuilding PDP. That's all we have for you on this day newspaper. Quickly, let's see what we have for you. Daily Trusts. And then for Daily Trust, Rivers emergency rule, that's the banner headline. No quorum in Senate, Tambowal orders. Jonathan Soyinka Wabara faults proclamation. Serap sues president, action taken to avert chaos. That's coming from the presidency. And then we have Tinubu, Buhari, Barau, governors mourn as Katsina governor mother is buried. We were threatened with beheading for plucking mangoes. Borno students. Wonder where this is happening. Sanusi Bayero plan rival Salah Doba in Kanu. Bandits kill 10 community guards, vigilantes in Zamfara. And then we have abducted naval officers, 2 others rescued in Nasarawa forest. We seem to have seen 3 stories where abducted naval officers were rescued. Really don't understand, and it's happening in 3 different parts of the country. Pupils sit on bare floor, teachers on window in Abuja school. And what's Wike doing about that? Another explosion at gas facility in Rivers State. And now the Nigerian Tribune is up next. And we have 2027 hurdles mount as coalition leaders move to unveil mega party. A failure to agree on rallying point, a big mistake. That's coming from a source. We have Mark Saraki adopts sit-down look approach.
Yeah.
Why we won't be part of coalition to change Tinubu, the Patriots. TWN writes INEC seeks registration as political party, announces national conference. And we have FAAN shut Ibadan airport for upgrade. KGB allegation will honor police invitations. Senator Karimi. Serap sues Tinubu over unlawful suspension of Fubara Rivers lawmakers. Job loss looms as Apapa Port barge operation decline. NDLEA intercepts Indian lady with 72 parcels of heroin in chocolate wraps. Then we have Onyenaikon to political leaders, check your abuse of power. We have assets of top 10 Nigerian banks surge to record 219.46 trillion in 9 months. Is that something to be celebrated, or should we be wowing here? Then we have blueprints. That's the last paper for review, but not the least. Bandits kill 10 security personnel in Zamfara ambush. Tinubu Buhari NGF orders condole with Katsina governor over mother's death. Tinubu prioritized Nigeria's interest over political expediency. That's talking about the presidency replies Jonathan Soyinka orders on Rivers emergency route. I don't really understand this whole thing, but then that's not the story for now. Let's be true with the papers. Says president's action prevented deeper crisis. I didn't see any crisis happening in Rivers State apart from the governor and the so-called political godfather. Calm in Rivers now vindicates that his decision deserves commendation, not condemnation. Group petitions ECOWAS over unconstitutional action. Wow. Okay. Group condemns multi-choice 21%. I think increment is that what they're trying to say there. NAPTIP rescues 7 Iraqi-bound victims in Abuja. Our partner seeks adherence to NIMET predictions. And World Cup qualifiers, Super Eagles ready for war against Zimbabwe. We've heard that before, yet nothing tangible came out of it. Please, you guys should go out there and do the job and talk
something tangible came out.
They should just do the job. Qualify, then you can talk, but for now, just forget about talking. Federal government, FCT police, military, rescue naval officer orders, and NAB 4. Federal government, states, local government share 1.67 trillion. That's in February revenue. And that's all we have for you this morning on the press review. Let's discuss a few of the interesting stories that we actually have here. And the one that really captures my imagination is the fact that the presidential spokesperson and the aides to the president are talking big about calm returning to Rivers State. And you begin to wonder, was there a time bombs were flying, rocket launchers, shooting and firing in Rivers State before the president went on that unconstitutional declaration of state of emergency in Rivers State? I think sometimes politicians in Nigeria make it seem as if we are living in two countries here, whereby somebody will do what is absolutely unconstitutional, and then you still see some people, because they are beneficiaries to the person, now coming out to tell us that it is the right thing to do. I think when you fail to do the right thing, what then do you expect? What precedents are you setting for those that will come after you? Since
the state of emergency in River State, there have been lots of comments, there have been lots of backlash on the federal government. So probably at this point, they seem to, that's the federal government, the presidency, seem to probably heed, they're probably beginning to heed to people's reactions, to say, oh, probably we got it wrong, probably we didn't do it the way we ought to, or probably we shouldn't have done it at all, So probably one of the reasons why the aides are coming out to say they are trying to bring calm to, because whether I would like it or not, there have been disputes also between two political persons, two major political persons in the state. That's between, some say it's Wike and the governor. All right, so, but since Fubara has been there have been lots of parts also in the state and all that, name callings, lots of questions. We'll talk about investigations, the state House of Assembly not sitting, being bombed, or rather being destroyed at a point, and now it's being rebuilt and all that, So these are some of the struggles, and efforts were being made, but probably the president, thinking or, hoping that, he needs to actually wade in to, arrest the situation or to make it better, decided to come in with that state of emergency. However, it didn't seem to, like we said earlier, he didn't seem to have taken the right steps subject to Section 305 and 306 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So, but whatever happens, let's hope that it's not just a thing of propaganda. Let's hope it's not just a thing that has to be said on the various newspapers and various tabloids. Let us see calm come back to Rivers State. We need things. Whether I would like it or not, when
you say let us see calm come to Rivers State,
calm means sometimes.
No. You're making it seem as if Rivers State is the only place in Nigeria. Let us see calm and sanity come to Nigeria, because what's happening in Rivers State tomorrow can happen anywhere.
One at a time.
You understand?
One at a time.
It can happen anywhere.
At the moment is Rivers, because when you are talking about a state of emergency, it should be a collaboration between the federal government and the state governor. So, but now it's more like the president. It was a situation of step aside, let's do something. And he wasn't really. He's not even an appointed person. He was an elected. If you were talking about an appointment, he was being appointed by the people, because they put Fubara through the ballot and all that. So, but these are the issues. So let's hope at the end of the day that calm comes. Calm means at the moment Fubara coming back and trying to steer the affairs of the state. That's the most important thing for Rivers people at the moment.
Wow, abuse of power. Now, talking about what we have for you on the Vanguard newspaper, we have the comments from Onaikon cautions political leaders against misuse and abuse of power. And then we have there too, at the State of the Nation, I don't know when we'll have peace again. That's coming from Ame Ebute. And when you put these two stories together, talking about abuse of power by our leaders, and then when not knowing when peace, you understand, will return to Nigeria, then you now see the same Vanguard newspaper there. You're seeing inflation. Manufacturers record 90.6% rise in cost. Those things that warranted this 90.6% rise in cost of production will definitely hit the market, and it's you and I that will buy it. Does it mean that Nigerian politicians look for a way to just throw one confusion into Nigeria while the country begins to rot on a global standard? Because really, sincerely, I really don't understand this. While we're talking about what's happening with Rivers State, we have not even finished with that of Natasha and Akpabio. Now, this caption is in fact, it should even be bigger than every other thing that we see on the front page. Because telling me 90.6% increase in cost of production, that means,
believe me,
that is more than double.
Believe me,
double the price of whatever
it's way more. It's way more than that. It's way more than that.
It's even more than 90%.
It's way more than that. Yeah, it's
but
way
that's
more
what
than
the
that.
figure
But
is telling us.
Yeah. So, but when you're this period it's a period whereby you have to feel for manufacturers. Believe me, some of them are doing a lot. Okay, I think during the weekend I saw a report of Nestle, one of the big conglomerates in the world, declaring saying that they lost money. These are a lot. These are top guns. These are, including the fact that top guns, these conglomerate, these big companies, I believe, in the likes of GlaxoSmithKline, and many of them have left. And those who are trying to stay in the country are still, complaining about the cost of manufacturing and all that. And in as much as the prices keep increasing, and they're going to push it on the consumers, but they're going to feel it. It's not just about them. It's basically everywhere. Inflation now. You're being paid. On average, probably a salary of let's say 50,000 naira can't sort you out as a single person. Even lots of issues. So these are some of the things. So a lot of before this we were even talking about uncertainties, when things are going to get better. We keep it's the hopelessness of an average Nigerian. Nobody is certain that things will get better. Nobody is hopeful. We keep saying Nigeria go better. I've been hearing that since when I was probably 9 months. I've been hearing that. How old am I now? And I'm still hearing that. Oh, things will get better. Things will get better. And it's so unfortunate. One of the reasons why Nigerians will always leave the country amidst how tedious, how stressful, emigrating, leaving the country is. But people still spend so much, both within the country and outside the country. I saw somebody talking about the cost of, renewing their international passport in Italy during the weekend. I think about €1,000. That's about 1.5 million naira. So people pay that. So, but if things were okay, you wouldn't spend so much amount of money to renew your passport in a foreign country, your own Nigerian passport in a foreign country. So these are some of the issues. We have to, the federal government has to, the government has to, do a lot to make sure they give people hope. Like one of the presidential candidates in the last election, said hope is so important. Some people say hope is not a strategy, but believe me, it is a strategy. When people see that, oh, if I stay here, if I do this, if I do that, this thing will always turn out well, or will certainly turn out well. Believe me, people will stay put. People will not leave. People will stay. Many people wouldn't want to leave Nigeria. Many people love their country so much, but they are looking at the hope. If I'm here, what am I going to benefit here on the long run? And many people who have tried to stay in the country and probably, believe have always regretted. So that's just it. The federal government, not just, but the government in all spheres, the local government, the state government, the federal government, we need to do a lot to making sure that we give average Nigerians hope.
Okay.
It's of great importance.
While you're talking about the federal government giving Nigerians hope, on the Nation newspaper, Oshomole, the former governor of Edo State and now senator, is now telling us that he is in support of the highway tolling and talking about the kickoff of the 125-kilometer Benin-Asaba highway. That's what Oshomole is telling us, that federal government should make tolling available to commuters, irrespective of the fact that inflation is hitting us at 90.6 for producers, and then we are having so many other challenges as a nation, shortage of power, so many other things confronting us, education-wise, so many other things, and yet the government is still looking for avenue to pull the little that the citizens have and give to them.
The funniest is
we just hope that
the funniest is Okpebolo blaming the former president Jonathan. Really very funny. All right, this is where we we won't say call it a day, but this is much we can give you on today's edition of the press review on the Good Morning Anambra segment. All right, next is the discussion segment. Do not go nowhere. Stay tuned.